So here we are, last day of session. Obviously, I think what we've got is a set of dueling priorities, right? Republicans understand that we have the largest surplus in state history, and we know that Minnesotans are suffering from the highest inflation in our lifetime and the highest gas prices in a decade at least. And what we want to do as Republicans is use that surplus to actually help Minnesotans, put money back in their pockets. And what Democrats are doing, the bills that came out of the Minnesota House accounted for $21 of increased spending for every dollar in tax relief. And those are misplaced priorities. Democrats in Minnesota are obviously not listening to Minnesotans. So here we are on the last day. It looks like things are not coming together because Democrats are really not letting go of those the unnecessary spending that they want to do right now.
Is bonding going to come together?
We're still talking about that. I'm open to have conversations about passing a bonding bill and also passing maybe a bill with kind of anything that kind of must happen. I'm not optimistic about things coming together in a special session, so I think I see the long faces and hear in their voices that they understand now that things are probably not getting done on time, and so we're open to having conversations about, is there a kind of a last-minute bill that we can catch all the must-haves to get done before we go home, and we certainly are open to passing a bonding bill as well.
What about those must-haves?
Support the tax bill. If the Speaker were to move the tax bill agreement.
I'm not sure about that. The problem with the tax bill is we were told about the deal originally that it was $4 billion of tax relief in exchange for $4 billion of spending and $4 billion on the bottom line. The tax bill is actually $2.4 billion of tax relief and $1.6 billion of spending in the tax bill. Those are things that just don't align with what our priorities should be right now, and they're not things that will put money back into the pockets of Minnesotans. So we have concerns about that. We do very strongly support the full exemption of Social Security. That's long overdue. We carried that in the House when I was Speaker back in 14 and 15 or 15 and 16. So we strongly support that, but I'm not sure about the rest of the bill.
Renters credit, I assume is what you're talking about.
Yes.
How does that not put money back in the pockets? It's exactly what it does.
It does put money back into Minnesotans' pockets, but I shouldn't say back into it. We'll put money into Minnesotans' pockets, but it's basically a tax expenditure, right? Those people aren't paying any tax, and you're giving them a refundable credit, which means they can get money even if they don't have any tax liability on their tax return. So that's basically just taking money from one taxpayer and giving it to another. It's the same as if you took money from a taxpayer and gave it to HHS or any of the other social programs. So it's a social program is what it is.
Don't renters pay property taxes indirectly?
They do not.
Through rent? Don't they pay property taxes indirectly through rent?
The landlord pays property taxes, but I think if we're going to have a conversation about that, we need to have a conversation about the fact that landlords then are able to, offset those property taxes against their losses or their gains, and so and we're also giving more. We did some calculations over in the House where actually you would be giving more in a renter's credit than actually is paid in property taxes. So it's not an equitable thing.
What are some of these must-do stuff that might appear in a late catch-all bill?
I'm not sure whether it's matching federal dollars for infrastructure dollars that come in or things like that. We're certainly open to anything that is a last-minute necessary thing that's agreed upon. So,
Okay, I'm told we
Thank
have to
you.
wrap this up.
Wow.
Attacking people in the lower income bracket is not the way we see the world. We have $4 billion of agreement with a tax bill, and there's tax relief for everybody. Everybody files taxes. Every single income earner in Minnesota files taxes. Some of them don't have to pay in, but they file taxes, and they put in money into our tax system. So to attack people in the lower income bracket is unconscionable as Minnesotans. But this is a bill that we all agreed on, House and Senate, and that we should pass, but we have to finish our work. And there is time. We were here for about 2 hours yesterday, the day before end of session, and we're only having 2 hours of work on the Senate floor. Get your job done. Get in the conference committee. I've already asked Senator Miller multiple times to get together as a leadership team to get our work done, and he has refused. I'm here. I brought out a suitcase. You all saw that. We're willing to do the work. We're just expecting the Senate majority to do their job, and they have not done that. And I'm really appalled to hear Majority Leader or Minority Leader Daudt talking about how people, it's just a social program. We really negotiated a tax bill that would help every single Minnesotan, including renters.
Do you want Speaker Hortman to move that tax bill over here so you can vote on it if nothing else happens?
I think the agreement was global and included different different buckets: $4 million for tax relief, $4 billion for health and human services, transportation, education, and other items, and $4 billion on the bottom line. That was the agreement. So the Senate majority is the ones that are blocking that from happening. So they should just show up to work and get the job done.
At this point, you support all or nothing, or would you support just the tax bill?
Well, I would have supported the entire thing. We have time. We had time. Again, 2 hours of our work on the Senate floor. 2 hours. There's bills on the front desk right now that we can be taking up right now instead of going to recess. Instead, we're taking stadium bills. We're not doing the work that's already waiting for us to vote on the front desk.
We're going to hear from the majority leader that it's the Democrats and the conference committees that are blocking things that aren't giving up enough. And so the Democrats are the reason the conference committees aren't moving fast enough.
I wish that was true. There's some hesitation on both sides, and we are trying to unclog the log jam here. And the Senate Majority Leader Miller is not bringing us to the table to get that done on the Senate side. We're willing to work. We're willing to get that log jam freed up. But no, there's fault on both sides, I would say.
Members think that a special session is prudent at this point?
If we can do the work and agree to everything before midnight tonight, possibly. I just, again.
So if there's agreement before midnight, but you just can't process the bills.
We cannot process the work at this point. You all know that.
The DFL gave on the Social Security tax. You've been saying all year that's a tax cut for the wealthy. While you were doing it, I was in Rochester, and delegates were on the floor condemning it.
Well, you all know that the Senate DFL Democratic Caucus voted for that unanimously before the Senate Republicans passed it in this bill. So we've already voted, and we've been on record supporting it. The problem is it costs a lot of money. So it eats up a lot of that $4 billion. It's about $500 million, and it grows to over $1 billion in the tails. It's a lot of money that we're committing for in perpetuity.
The D's would support that just because it's so hot politically. It's a tax cut for wealthy retirees only. It's not one that filters down to others.
It's confusing. Most Minnesotans thinks that all of it is being taxed. So we want to make sure that people understand that we will not tax it, period. We're done with that story. So moving on to other bigger issues in our budget.
Have you spoken with Governor Walz directly about what he thinks about the tax plan?
I know we want to help seniors, so I do know that, and this is a part of how we do that with the Social Security tax break, with renters credit, refundable renters credit, and with other pieces of the income bracket, cut on the first tier. So it helps everyone in Minnesota.
He told you, Governor Walz, whether or not he supports the tax agreement?
Well, he signed off on it.
Have you been asked by the Speaker to be open to a special session, and if so, are there any conditions you would want placed on it?
Oh, of course. Every special session has very prescriptive parameters of coming here. We're not going to come here like we've done in the past and just wait and see for another agreement. That is just wasteful of our time and taxpayer dollars. So we have to come with an agreement. I think we're very close on bonding is what I'm hearing. And we're very close, getting closer on health and human services and education. If we can't come to an agreement on education, I don't know what to do with our work, because that seems to be something that we all agree needs some support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Okay, so here's where we're at. Obviously, time is short. We have a few of the larger bills still outstanding. The tax bill is, for all intended purposes, wrapped up, which is great. That includes the full elimination of the Social Security tax and income tax reduction, as well as property tax relief. So that hits lower income Minnesotans, middle class Minnesotans, as well as senior citizens. So Republicans, from the beginning of the session, since we had a massive surplus, our priority has been, let's get more money back in the pockets of the people of Minnesota. That's exactly what that tax bill does. So our priority number one, get the tax bill passed. Number two, we're working on a few of these other items. Going to meet with the Speaker right now. We're going to try to wrap up E12. That is another top priority for Republicans and Democrats. What Republicans have proposed is exactly what we're hearing from the school districts. They wanted more money for the special education cross-subsidy. That is exactly what we delivered, in addition to funding for literacy to help kids read better in the classroom. So that's E12. I think we're very, very close. We also included some additional mental health provisions in that bill. The next piece is transportation. Chairman Newman just made an offer to Chair Hornstein that I believe could wrap that up. That's a significant amount of money for roads and bridges, leverages a significant amount of money from the federal government, so we're hoping that we can do that. It also includes the full shift of the auto parts sales tax towards roads and bridges. The other one that we're still working on right now, public safety and judiciary. With violent crime absolutely out of control, Senate Republicans are laser focused on providing funding for more police officers. We know more good cops not only protects the public, but it also results in less crime. We also want to hold violent criminals accountable for their actions, especially at a time when carjackings are happening left and right, people are getting shot. I mean, the time to act on public safety is now. We're hoping that we can come to an agreement on that. And then Health and Human Services is the other big one. There's a little bit of a difference on priorities right now. Republicans are focused on supporting nursing homes, assisted care facilities, as well as disability service providers. We have a big chunk of our proposal going to help those folks, especially at a time when many of them are facing a potential permanent closure. So we're going to continue to make that a priority for us. So time is running short. I'm going to meet with the speaker right now to see if we can wrap a few of these up again. But we're going to keep working throughout the day to try to find common ground and try to get these things done.
Have you talked with the governor yet about what a special session would look like?
We are not interested in a special session. Whatever we can get done today, we want to get done today.
Does that mean you're not interested, or that's a no?
We want to get our work done today. We're not interested in a special session.
So to what end? I mean, everything you've just talked about can't be done today as we understand it. There's just not enough time. So are we looking at a partial element to the grand bargain?
That I don't know yet. We want to get the whole thing done. We think there's a path to do it. We have proposals on the table that meet the needs and the requests and what we're hearing from the people across the state of Minnesota. In my view, this should have been agreed to 2 or 3 days ago. These proposals have been on the table. For whatever reason, my friends in the other chamber, the Democrats, like to wait till the last minute. We saw it on reinsurance. We saw it on unemployment and frontline workers, and now we're seeing it on the framework of this sort of deal that we're working on. But we're going to make every effort to get done.
So you're saying that the revisor's office is there is enough time to get all of them done by midnight?
Some of these provisions are already at the revisor's office. So, for example, the tax provision is there. E12 could come together fairly quickly. Public safety could come together. Public safety and judiciary, transportation. HHS is, we're pretty far apart on HHS right now.
The speaker said auto parts was done.
Auto parts is not done. It is still on the table. We just sent an offer. Chair Hornstein and Chair Newman have been talking. It is very much on the table.
Inevitably, though, if these bills come to the floor, many members will not know what's in them. What do you say?
That's not true. The offers have been out there. The spreadsheets have been out there. The conference committees have been meeting. So I think members, both sides of the aisle, both chambers, are very well aware of what the priorities are in the House and what the priorities are in the Senate. So, and in many cases, those provisions have already passed one chamber or the other, if not both. But I do have to run. I'm going to go meet with the speaker, see if we can continue to make progress. Yes.
Are you guys involving the governor's office in these talks? Are these bills he will sign?
We sure hope. I mean, I don't know. The tax bill is a fantastic tax bill, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't sign that. Commissioners have been involved through the process, so I don't see any reason why the governor would veto any of these bills.
Senator Lopez Franzen told us that he signed off on the tax bill. Is that your understanding?
I have not had any conversations with him about the tax bill. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
I'm not involved in the discussions. But
You're on the conference committee.
I'm on the conference committee. I get copies of the offers at some point in the process, but I'm not in the loop on the Senate side for sure.
So what's in the latest offer?
I'm not going to tell you what's in the latest offer. That's not my role to to play.
Do you
But,
think it's getting closer, though?
We'll see what the ultimate goal is, if it's talking points for the election or if it's advancing the cause of public safety for the people in Minnesota. And there's more than one way to do it. So I think there's plenty of room for compromise agreement, but the parties have to be willing to go there on both sides. They have to be willing to make significant compromises of their core values, or at least their frameworks that they're seeing this in.
Should give more on things like tough on crime bills, like increased penalties and sentences, or any of that kind of stuff.
I've been personally, I'm kind of in the middle on all these things. I'm not a mandatory penalty guy. I think that's cookie cutter justice doesn't work, and it's antithetical to what I think we all believe in. Many of us believe in anyway. The system of justice doesn't function as a system of justice if you just apply the same rules to every person's situation. But I think there's going to have to be room and compromise on both sides to get this done.
So knowing that we're running out of time, do you want to make a prediction as to how this all might play out?
No. No. I could sit down and write the bill that would pass both chambers right now, but I'm not writing the bill. Yeah.
Send it to us.
I've thought about it. Believe me, Dave, I have.
Thanks, Senator Lopez.
Yeah, you bet.
No, well, just go.